Nintendo Shack and pray. Frederick from Fire Emblem Awakening says, yo.
Greetings, Koobalings! Welcome to this week's episode of the Nintendo Shack podcast. Somehow, for some reason, the Nintendo Switch Pro rumors live on for going on like the third year in a row, right? Something like that.
Oh, 'tis the season.
Something like that. Tis the season. We'll talk about it, but we're going to talk about some other stuff as well, some other actual existing Switch models that are not the Pro, as well as some game previews to talk about, game trials, a bunch of other news. I feel like there's some exciting stuff happening. I feel like we are now in the time where we're out of that drought and games are coming out, people are talking, things are happening.
Some are fun.
It's been good so far. What have you been up to this week, Dr. Bland?
I haven't been playing much games, to be quite honest with you. First off, I did finish Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
I saw that. Congratulations.
Yeah, I'm glad I finished it well before Xenoblade Chronicles 3 release date. So time. Right on schedule to play now Torna, which is the DLC to this game, the standalone package. So I will definitely do that. Let's see. I don't know what happened, but
is that me or is that you?
I don't know. You have a third screen now.
I only see us.
I know, but anyways.
Sorry.
Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is done. I'm about to play Torna this week. I liked it. I don't think I enjoyed it as much as the first one. And I'm just being honest with you. Everyone out there, I can't believe there's a lot of avid fans for this game. It's good. It's not it's so good that I'm about to cry or be gut wrenched or anything.
Ooh, are you gonna make some enemies by saying that?
I don't know. People say this is like their favorite game out of the franchise and like out of the Switch. I know there's some very avid fans out there, but I'm just like, it's a little too anime for me.
I remember you said that last time.
It crept the borderline, and I'm like, I think I'm out of this now. It's very well written. I'm not saying it's a bad story at all. It's a very good story. It's just, it's not my taste. And also, I did some side stuff before I ended the game. I wanted to get, one of the main side characters, Tora, he's a little furball thing. And he is a driver, and he makes up his own blade since he's he can't connect with the actual blades in the universe, so he just made his own, like a machine. And it's this female droid type of thing called Poppy, and you go throughout the game with him.
You said Tora? Is that related to the DLC Torna?
No, Tora is an actual character. Torna is a previous civilization.
Okay, that's not confusing at all.
Yeah, no, it's very confusing. Anyways, this Poppy machine thing has 3 forms, and you unlock 2 of them throughout like the main story of the game. But the third form, you have to have a side quest, and the side quest, this made me want to finish the game because side quests in this game is just so. They're boring. I wouldn't say they're boring. Sorry, that's not the wrong term. There's so many obstacles that I'm like, why does this need to be there? Like, why is this a skill check? There's a lot of instances in this game where you need your drivers and blades have these things called field skills, and you need enough of these skills accrued in your party in order to pass a certain check in a side quest. Let's say forestry, you need like level 7. So you need at least enough monsters and drivers and whatever to have forestry to add up to level 7 forestry. Okay. And then it just becomes a menus game at that point because
Yeah.
you're switching blades into your party. You're trying to figure out, and then the blades is its own lottery system where you have to. It's like a core, and you open up, and you don't know what you're getting. It could be any blade. And I'm like, okay, I'm randomizing this because I need to get more of this certain skill. So it just got a little. The pacing of that side system is just not my cup of tea.
Right.
So I finished up though that side. I did get the third form of Poppy. It was a good side quest. It was just this skill field check type of thing I don't really care for. But the main story, great.
So you
I'm
liked
glad I'm done.
1 a lot more than 2,
Yes.
but you're still feeling confident enough to keep going with 3.
3 is looking way different than 2.
Okay.
In terms of UI, in terms of
Mm-hmm.
it looks like they really cleaned out the quality of life stuff, and they don't have a blade and driver system in that game.
Okay. Which
It's
is
a
the thing
set-
that you didn't really like.
Yeah, there's set amount of characters, there's set amount of skills, and that's it. You don't have to worry about these blades.
That's good
I'm
that it
so
sounds
tired
like
of these.
if people preferred a lot of the mechanics from the first game, that they're going back to that instead of kind of
Mhm.
continuing with what they did in 2.
I think they're pulling the best parts of 2 and 1 together. They have
That's
some
perfect.
systems in 1 that they dropped, which I wish they didn't drop actually. And
Mhm.
then of course there's a lot of quality of life stuff in 2 as well that was better than 1. But yeah.
And we'll talk about it, but the previews for 3 are coming out, and it seems like people who played it are having pretty positive experience with it so far. So
They're like, yep, this is Xenoblade. It's like,
and that's
cool.
got to make you even more excited to finish up 2 and get ready for 3.
Yes, I heard Torna really cleans up the systems itself that I'm complaining about.
Oh,
so
you're still going to do that, right?
Yeah. I bought the expansion pass, which cool is $10 cheaper to get the expansion pass than get Torna alone digitally.
Oh, okay.
So I'm
Might as
glad
well.
I did it. Yeah, it was right there, and it's the same price as it's always been. And I'm just like, you know what? I play this game. I want to play the rest of it now. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Excellent.
Xenoblade Chronicles 2 done. I like the ending of that game. It's very emotional. It's just I don't think I was really invested into the story. Also, when they go into these very like pivotal moments, they have this music, and the music's great. It's just blasting at your face, and you're barely hearing the voices in that game at that point. It was a little weird. I hope they just fix the balancing. There's just a little stuff here and there in this game. I'm just like, okay, I'm good. I'm glad it was shorter than my other JRPGs. So,
Are you able to change any of those settings so that you can't, so that like you don't have to hear that?
I'm not too sure. I think these are like cutscenes. So I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think you can balance that out.
Oh, okay. I didn't know it was
Anyways.
a cutscene.
Yeah.
Well,
lots of cutscenes in this game. Let me tell you, it's like half the game. But I'm done and going off to Torna, which I'm happy to do.
Excellent.
I've been playing the Live Alive.
Yeah. What do you think?
I think I like particular ones of stories.
So I've been playing that too.
So much of others. Yeah.
Yeah. So I am playing it for review, and I haven't written up preview thoughts yet. Previews for that have come out as well, which I haven't dove into those because I want to write up my own preview first. Yeah. What scenarios have you done? Because the ones for me are a little bit different than the ones for you. I think they're the same except for one of them. Which ones did you play?
So for the demo, you got the China one that recruits the apprentices. You got the Japan one with the ninja, and then also the future one with the robot.
Did you play all 3 of those?
I did play all 3. Yes.
Okay. So I have played the Japan one, and I guess probably maybe about half or so of the future one. What have been your thoughts so far?
I don't like those as much as the China one. The China one is my favorite. Yeah. The future one, it's a lot of like I like the story of it so far, the premise of it, where it's setting and where it's going off to. It's very Star Trek, right? It's like they're lost in space kind of, and they're trying to
I like the
figure
premise a lot
out what
too.
to do.
It's just
Yeah.
a lot of text, a lot of story compared to the others so far. I
Yeah.
haven't done any battling yet. I don't know when or if that happens in the futuristic one. For the demo, you can't do the whole story though, right? It like
You could
cuts you
do the
off at a
first
certain point.
chapter. Yeah.
Okay.
First chapter. That's it. Did you there's like a mini game in there. Did you try that?
Yeah, I did. That one had the
Cool.
battling, but like that, there wasn't anything outside of that.
That's it. Yeah.
That's
That
all
was
the
it.
battling that you have in that one. There's no other
For the
battling
first chapter.
in the story. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, wait, you're saying
what I can think of.
first chapter, but the scenarios aren't broken into like chapters or anything.
So you have all these scenarios, and then
Yeah.
they're chapter-based systems, like your chapter 1, chapter 2, or whatever in each of them. And so for the demo, you're only allowed for the first chapter for 3 scenarios.
Oh, that's not been
down.
my experience with it. So the one that I have played through to the end was the Japan one, and it was just like a straight thing through. Like it didn't break it up into chapters. Like I think for the demo, it just cuts you off after you reach a certain point into the story.
Oh, it literally says chapter 1 on the save file. Yeah.
I think that means the scenario that you're doing, isn't it?
Oh, I don't know then.
I don't know either.
It did cut me off.
It did cut you off.
All
Okay.
3. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's like, hey,
I beat that one, and it didn't say anything about like different chapters while it was playing, so I don't know.
Oh, okay, interesting.
But
yeah,
the whole thing, like I think they're each like about 2 to 3 hours long in total to beat. So they're all like very bite-sized chunks
short.
of like of an RPG, and they're each totally different like kind of scenarios and situations. Like we were saying for the future one, like you're not doing really any fighting or combat. Like it's kind of living through this story, this futuristic story, and piecing all of that together. Whereas, what were your thoughts on the Edo Japan one? Because I really enjoyed the whole thing that I played through that.
The part I played, I think is my least favorite one, just because I think sneaking in a 2D platform's weird, and that's just me because I'm used to 3D space when I'm sneaking around. Like getting behind someone in a 3D space makes sense to me. Hiding behind a cloak in this mini game,
I did think that the stealth was a little bit odd because the AI are not very smart at all. You have this invisibility cloak that you can just pull up when an enemy comes near, and all of a sudden you're just gone, and they don't even look for you or anything, and you just wait for them to walk away, and you can pretty much outrun them. What I do think is kind of cool about that scenario is that you can choose to either stealth your way through it and sneak past them and not kill anyone, or you can just go in and brutally murder everyone. It kind of reminded me of like the Undertale morality system. You can just go kill everyone. You can kill anyone that gets in your path, and you can kill some people but spare others. I was trying to spare everybody and just sneak past everybody, and then I got to a certain point where I couldn't figure out how to get past them, and I ended up just like having to battle. But then I was so weak. Like I lost the first battle that I tried because I was so like under leveled because I hadn't been doing any battles.
Right.
Like I was killed in like 2 hits.
So yeah, there's no really point in sneaking around if you need to train up. And like when I was facing people during the playthrough, it said like, afterwards, lives taken this. That's what the ninja kept saying. And I'm like, is this character not wanting to kill people? That like makes me think that he doesn't want to kill anyone. He wants to go through this in a pacifying way. And
it tells you your body count at the end.
Oh, wow. That's kind of crazy.
So I don't know if that's going to matter. So when you beat all the 7 chapters in the game, you unlock an 8th chapter, and apparently that ties everything together. I don't know how, because it's all different time eras. But I'm wondering if that will matter. There's one other decision that you make at the very end of that chapter that I don't know why they make you make the decision, and I wonder if that's going to matter too. It seems like very arbitrary because the chapter is ending, like the scenario is ending. So like, why am I making this decision if the game's over? But I wonder if that's going to come back into play somehow.
Yeah, So from what I played, I'm not I know a lot of people are very excited for this
Hmm.
role-playing game. I'm
The
not
demo
like
didn't.
day
Oh, the demo didn't get you.
it's not a day one for me.
Okay,
It's
that's
not
fair.
like I'm gonna get it right then and there. I'm
Yeah.
so excited. It's more like, okay, I like what I played. I'm gonna wait a little bit and just catch up on
Hmm.
backlog stuff. There are plenty of other games there.
Plenty. I
Yeah.
really like the combat of what I played in the combat is the same in all of the
Yes.
scenarios. I like that they're not really changing up the gameplay
Yeah, me
style
too.
as you go through. I learned it. I can play it in each scenario and understand it. I really like it because it's turn-based, but there is a little bit of action strategy to it as well because of the grid system. It feels like it's not just, you're in a static location. You have to choose where you are in the grid to attack, and some
Yeah.
attacks might be long range, some might be you have to get up real close to them, but they're more powerful, but then you're
Mhm.
open to attacks and you really have to think about it. And
Mhm.
that it makes it really hard. I'm not really supposed to talk about the end of that chapter, but it makes it really hard in the final battle of that chapter,
Okay.
the Japan
Okay.
one, and it
The
was
Japan one.
really really cool. I would say, like, if
Okay.
you do get this game, like, play that chapter through all the way. It's really cool.
Cool.
I also feel like, I don't know if, like, you realize this, but the at least the historical chapters, obviously not the future chapters, are kind of based in real history. I was Googling around to learn more about that time period in Japan, and a lot of the character names are of real people who
Oh,
actually
cool.
existed. Like, the character that you play as apparently was a real person. The person that you're trying to rescue was a
Mhm.
real person who ended up overthrowing the Japanese, like, shogun or whatever.
Mhm. Mhm.
So it's like kind of cool history too from that time period that they're using the real names based on real scenarios. They're pretty cool.
Awesome. Yeah.
So if you
No.
like history,
Yeah, it's
mhm,
pretty good. What I really shout out to me, just like what it did last week, the art is like the best it's ever
it's
been. I
beautiful. It's
love the
so pretty.
the 2D HDR is very crisp, very bright,
Yeah.
and it looks so good on that OLED
Mhm.
screen. Yeah, if you guys need a looker, this is the game out of all the 2D HD art games I've came into
Yeah.
contact with. This is a good
I
one.
I was looking up some comparisons from the original to this one, and the original game came out on the Super Famicom in Japan, and we
Yep.
know how beautiful some of the games from the Super Nintendo were, but that game was
Hmm.
not really a looker back then. Like, the graphics
Uh-uh.
almost looked more reminiscent of, like, NES games. Like, it was very simple pixel art. But I was doing the comparison images, and the sprites really remain true, but like,
Hmm.
what the original was. Like, you can tell, like, this was obviously this character, this was obviously this enemy, but it looks so much more detailed, so beautiful. They did a really
Yeah.
stellar job with this.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with you.
Yeah,
So
and I
yeah,
love the time
I'm
element. You know how I feel about, like, time and things like that. So that part of it is really intriguing me with how they're going to bring it together. So
yeah, I'm interested to hear more of your thoughts and also
yeah.
Ryan's thoughts on it. The people who are really going to be into this,
Hmm.
into these type of games. You might convince me to get it later.
Yeah, I'll
Hopefully
share
it'll
more.
come
I'll
out
have
soon.
played more by the time next week. It comes out oh my god. They put out previews
29.
so early. This is the longest I've ever had to review a game. It comes out the 22nd. So
22nd. Okay.
2 weeks from now, I will I'll talk a little bit more about it, spoiler free, next week,
Hmm.
ahead of the review. So get
Cool.
excited. But that's really all that I have been playing lately. That's all
Hmm.
that I have to talk about anyway.
Okay, cool. Well, this past weekend, it was, 4th of July weekend. So we decided to go down to LA and just drive down from San Francisco.
Oh,
Nice. It was a 7-ish hour drive, and yeah, it was pretty fun. We hung out with
how
some
awesome.
friends down there and had some really good food, really good Asian food, and
Oh,
went to
yum.
Getty Town, or not Getty, the Getty Center. You know what
Okay.
that is?
No.
It's like an art. It is an art museum. Completely free though.
Oh,
Like
wow.
anyone can just go in, and it's very like outside the architecture is like modern, very like postmodern look, and then inside is a bunch of collection of paintings.
Ooh, that sounds fun.
And it's really, and it gives you a really nice view of LA, just like right in front of you, and also the beach. So yeah, LA was pretty fun, and then we went to SeaWorld in
Awesome.
San Diego. So
Ooh, how was that?
yeah, it was pretty fun. We went to all the shows and roller coasters. Yeah, it was a blast this weekend. So no video games, but
That's
just a
okay.
lot of driving and having fun. So yeah.
Gotta get out and do stuff like that. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty
Well,
much it.
that's I think that's all really that I've been up to share. So let's get into this week's news in Nintendo. I think the big headline story this week is that Nintendo announced a Switch OLED model, the Splatoon 3 edition. It's beautiful, Garrett. It's so beautiful. It is the first, correct me if I'm wrong, the first special edition OLED model. The
That is
OLED
correct.
was announced exactly 1 year ago to the date that this was announced. It's going to be releasing on August 26th next month, ahead of the game's release on September 9th. I remember they did that for the Animal Crossing Special Edition as well. They released it like a week before Animal Crossing came out, give people time to move over all of their stuff before the game releases. They also announced a Splatoon 3 Pro Controller and a Splatoon 3 carrying case that will be releasing on September 9th along with the game. I saw you, Garrett, say you are not getting this console. You're not upgrading. We'll talk about why you're not soon.
Upgrading.
Okay, well, yeah, you have an OLED, right?
Yeah, well, there's no upgrading.
There's no upgrade, but it's beautiful, Garrett. Okay, and I have an OLED as well, so I don't need another OLED. What are you talking about? Did we look at the same console?
Hold on, I'm gonna look at this one more time.
Oh my god! Listen,
I want to confirm my thoughts.
I don't need an OLED, but I need those Joy-Con. I can't not have those Joy-Cons. So you know what I'm doing, Garrett?
Oh, okay, yeah.
I am teaming up with a friend of mine who only wants the dock. He only wants the dock. His friend only wants the OLED Switch itself. And I only want the Joy-Con. So we are splitting it and we are sharing each of the part that we want.
What kind of deal is that? That's some
What do you
monstrosity.
mean? How?
Oh my gosh, you're splitting this thing apart.
So I get what I want, he gets what he wants, his friend gets what he wants.
You do what you want.
I only want the Joy-Con, and they're not going to sell it separately. The console, his friend wants the console because I think his friend is upgrading from a regular Switch to the OLED. He can use the same dock. The same dock works.
Yeah.
Everybody wins.
That's a smart person. Yes. Wow. Okay. Cool. I mean,
I need those Joy-Con. I can't.
Splatoon's
my favorite. They're beautiful gradient, beautiful pattern. They look like tentacles on the back for Splatoon.
That they are tentacles on the back.
Mm-hmm. You know how much I love
Joy-Cons. I know the Joy-Cons look pretty cool.
Yeah,
I'll give you that.
Pretty cool.
I just don't. Yeah, pretty cool. The dock, I'm not a fan of.
I like everything about the dock except for the paint splatter. If it removed the paint splatter, it would look cool.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. That paint splatter is just like, oh, you got it. You got a spot right there, and let me clean it up a little bit. And then I just wish the grip was white. I think that's the one thing. That would make actually if the whole thing was white, like the dock itself had a white like outside chassis, and then like a white grip. Everything white. Oh, then this would be all.
Do you mean the Switch console itself, like the
Switch console? Yeah,
like the bevel. Yes. Yeah, kind of like how they do with the iPhone, right? Like the white iPhone.
Yeah. No, I would. I think I would. That would be really cool.
Yeah, that would be a lot better.
But no, I mean it looks good. I
mean, how often do you use the grip? I see Donnie in chat complaining about the grip too, but like, when's the last time that you used the Joy-Con in the grip?
I don't know where it is.
Exactly.
I don't care for the grip at all.
You use the Pro Controller when you're playing it docked, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
So,
And I've been playing
let's
it.
be real.
So.
You don't really need it to be white that badly. Exactly. Which I was thinking about getting the Splatoon Pro controller as well.
It looks cool. I like that one.
It looks exactly like the Splatoon 2 one, except different color grips. I don't know. I don't really love it. I think it's good, but I would rather have the Joy-Con.
So, yeah, the Monster Hunter Pro controller one, the Sunbreak one.
That's a cool one.
Every time they do. Yeah.
That's a really cool
one. If they do a Monster Hunter one, it's great. I wish they did a Monster Hunter OLED. I think that would look really cool.
They might eventually.
But I'm very happy for people getting this thing and wanting to make the jump to the OLED version. Get these things out, get them removed from stock. Let's put the real new consoles into the shelves. And
should we talk about that next? I see that you put some stuff in the notes between it, but do you want to talk about?
Sure, we can go ahead and
smooth transition into that.
Go to the name right here.
You would think that after this OLED model was announced, that people would cool it with the Switch Pro rumors. Silly me. The Switch Pro rumors never die, ever. They live on. They live on. In fact, when they actually privated the OLED's announcement trailer the day before that 1-year anniversary mark, that sparked all the rumors really coming back up. Oh my God, like, here it is. They privated it because they're going to show a brand new console soon. No, it was a Splatoon edition. It was just that. But the Switch Pro rumors, regardless, persist. Of course, because a Chinese leaker who apparently called the Splatoon 3 OLED edition, I didn't see this rumor, so I'm just kind of taking it at face value that people said that.
We're not real investigators on this. No.
That leaker is saying that there's going to be a September reveal for a brand new console that will likely be released in early 2023, which I think we were saying, Zelda releasing spring 2023, new console releasing in 2023 makes sense, right? Another known leaker, Pixelpar, came out of hiding and said that he believes that it could be announced towards the end of the year, not September. He says that the new console will work with current carts, so it'll be backwards compatible. But it will have improved performance. It will retain that Switch branding, so it won't be like the Game Sphere. It'll be Switch something. And it'll kind of retain that Switch form factor that we already know.
That Game Sphere is a deep cut. Drake and Josh?
Yeah, okay, you get it, Drake and Josh. It's the first thing that came to mind. I don't know why.
Spherical.
It's spherical.
I love it.
Thank you. I'm glad that you get it.
Yes.
So, what do you think? What are you thinking?
Well, you know me. I love a good old Switch Pro rumor. I love when someone just comes out and it's like, I know something. Switch Pro.
Is this the same Switch Pro that we were talking about 2 years ago?
I don't know. There's like this web of like lies and rumors that are lying and half truths that are together that I don't know what's happening. I don't think even Nintendo knows what's happening. It's like,
it'll be right eventually.
We're just holding it, and we're not going to show you this until we're ready. I see Donnie in the chat. It could be just like another different edition, like a different like Switch OLED.
What if it's a Zelda OLED? Oh my God, y'all would be clowns.
Yeah, Zelda OLED could very well be a possibility at this point. But yeah, I don't know. Switch Pro, I just want it to be real at this point. I know I just want more details. They're just talking about release times, and I'm like, I don't care really about release times. Give me the capabilities. Give me a digital foundry type of analysis.
See, it's so easy to say improved performance, but like, I would be weirded out if a new console didn't have improved performance. But what does that mean? What is the improved performance? What's different? What's going to be better?
Yeah, and
give us numbers or specs or something.
Yeah, and with the Switch Pro, they're likely going to have a game with it to showcase with it. So I'm actually not surprised that the Splatoon one When it was originally rumored, hey, this is gonna be the Switch Pro, I'm like, yeah, I've heard that before. I know a lot of games that was gonna showcase with it, but Splatoon looks good in the first one. Like Splatoon 2 looks great on the original Switch.
And the
I
performance
don't
of
think,
it was good too. I didn't really
yeah,
have lag when I was playing. Like, it's a fast-paced game, but like it was fine. It was good.
it was flawless. So
Especially for coming out the first year.
yeah, I didn't even think that Splatoon 3 would be the showcase game. I think it's either going to be Breath of the Wild. That could be a possibility. You know how they turn around these consoles, or it's going to be Metroid Prime 4. It's either those two. I think showcasing Metroid Prime 4 is a pretty good one.
It would look
Because
beautiful.
it will look beautiful, and I think even though I think the audience is a little bit more mature than like a kid that would know the difference between an original Switch and a Switch Pro. It would be for people like us. It would be people that are like in their teens or whatever. It's like, oh gosh, a third person awesome Metroid game, just like one of those horror shooter games on an Xbox or PlayStation.
I would love it if it was third person. First person.
Sorry,
yeah, no,
person.
I agree. I think even if it doesn't, I see it definitely being more likely to launch with Breath of the Wild 2. That being said, that will be nice to have that console out by the time Metroid 4 comes out, Metroid Prime 4 comes out, because it's gonna look stellar. It's gonna look so good. And I know we haven't seen any of that game, but I don't care. It's gonna look awesome. I just got a realization just now. Do you think I know we were originally talking about how Splatoon and Xenoblade kind of switched places for release dates. We were originally saying that they were moving up Xenoblade, but do you think they were moving back Splatoon in order to have this special edition ready for ahead of the release?
That very much could be.
Yeah, because I feel like maybe they realized, oh no, we're not going to have the special edition ready until August, but we still want it to come out ahead of Splatoon 2, so let's switch them.
No, I that totally makes sense to me.
Damn you, supply chain.
Yeah, the supply chains, the materials, and
it ruined my summer.
Whatever. But now you get a beautiful OLED before
I'm not gonna
game.
Yeah.
Well, you're gonna get the Joy-Cons. I think you're getting the best. Honestly, you're getting the best part out of it.
I know, that's why I want
it. You're benefiting. Who's the person that wants the dock? That's the least benefited one.
My friend Matt, Real M Fresh. Tweet at him, Real M Fresh.
Real M Fresh.
I don't know. And the problem is he's Canadian, so it all costs more for him anyway.
Oh, okay. Oh, you're gonna have to situate. Oh gosh, when it becomes international, it's like
I know.
And so are you splitting it accordingly? Like
so however much the Joy-Con cost, I'm paying for that part of it.
Oh, okay.
And then however much the dock costs, he's paying for that part of it, and then I guess his friend is paying for the rest. And then we're both going to try to get the pre-order. So all y'all listening, if you see the pre-orders go up, tag me on Twitter immediately at me in it so I can jump on that. I need to get one.
You need to get the Joy-Cons.
I know, but I need to get one of us, me or Matt, needs to get a pre-order.
Okay, that sounds good.
Cool. I need those
Joy-Con. Yeah, I just want. For me, rumors, I don't care about timing. Like, I think they're liars. Most of them are liars about timing. They're like, I believe it's.
I think that a lot of that part's speculation.
It's like, come on, guys. Like, it's some cloud.
They've been around long enough. They know what makes sense.
That's true. I like more of the technical, like, capabilities in the so more speculation than rumors. How about that? I love when Digital Foundry goes deep down. It's like, what is possible for a Switch 2 or a Switch Pro at the price it is now? What can we expect from NVIDIA? What can we expect from the hardware side? What Switch can do? And to be honest, Rebecca, it's going to be leaps and bounds from the original Switch because it's an outdated mobile chip from 2016, from 6 years ago. we can get a new chip, Tegra chip, NVIDIA chip for a cheap price. I think it could be cheaper than like the original Switches now, or very similar price.
Do you think so?
Yeah, very much so. I think they're just holding on to this
I think if
until
they
they
charge
run out of
more than
supplies.
$349 that the OLED is, like I feel like that's expensive. $349 for the OLED is
They
a
can't
little
do 400.
no.
They can't do 400. They got to
No,
knock
I
down
don't think
OLED to
so.
300 and Switch Pro for 350 if they're going the Switch Pro route.
Yeah.
And it
Are
would.
they even selling the
Yeah.
original Switch anymore, or is it just OLEDs, in stores now?
That's a good
Is it the
question.
OLED and the light?
I think there's still some original Switch
Are there?
models out
Are they
there.
producing them still? Or I guess I should say manufacturing them.
Maybe they are, but at like a lower
Okay.
kind of capacity. I'm not sure. I haven't looked around.
Yeah, I don't
that
know
much,
if it's just the
but
ones that are still on the shelf or
yeah, from the last GameStop I went to, there were Switches, like original Switch boxes.
okay.
So
I don't know why you would get that,
I don't
pay
know.
50 more and just get the OLED.
Yeah, pretty much at that point, $50.
It's
and
worth
here you
it.
go,
It's
nice.
really worth it. If you don't have any Switch, get the OLED.
Yeah, I agree with that. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. I think Nintendo is very hesitant to bring this one out because they don't know how to market it at all. Like they can probably bring it with a game, of course. That's probably one thing they can do.
Mhm.
But they looked at the new 3DS and looked how that turned out. Like it was just such a slow roll, and like they didn't know what to do to incentivize people to get the new 3DS.
Do you ever
a
see
3DS
them
XL.
doing a pack-in again? Because I feel like the Switch is like the only console that didn't have a pack-in game. The only Nintendo console.
Switch, you say?
I think so. Didn't everything else have a pack-in game? The Wii U
3DS
had
had AR.
Mario Bros.
Yeah, well, 3DS
whatever it's
had
called.
AR games, but that's pretty much it. And
The
then
Wii
like
had
the
Wii
Street Pass
Sports.
games. We had Wii Sports. Well, yeah,
I
but
don't know
before
if the
then they didn't have it.
GameCube had anything. The Super
No.
Nintendo had Super Mario World.
Well, Reggie was talking, like in his book, he really had to push Wii Sports to be free, in a pack-in for Wii in order to like push it out. N64, it didn't have a pack-in, right?
I don't think
It
so.
didn't. No.
I wonder how much that actually helps, because I feel like the only ones then I guess would be the Super Nintendo, well, the NES, the SNES,
the
Wii. Am I misremembering? Did the Wii U have one, or did I just buy that separately?
I think
I can't imagine I bought a Mario game.
The Wii U had a pack-in for the more expensive model.
Okay.
Maybe they had Nintendo Land.
No, it didn't. Did it have Nintendo? I bought Nintendo Land separately.
Yeah,
so maybe
Eat the Hype said, yeah, Wii U had Nintendo Land.
I bought Nintendo Land separately, so maybe only certain ones had the pack-in.
Yeah,
regardless,
Wii U
I feel like
had one.
with the Wii U being the exception, the consoles that had a pack-in generally do better. Like the GameCube didn't do great. The N64 did okay.
Mm-hmm. Well,
I guess the Switch is an exception too, because the Switch did just fine. That's true.
I don't think there's gonna be a pack-in for a revision. I think that's just how it's gonna go. And I just question. I think they're just questioning how to market it, what's the demand, and how much people are gonna transition off of the old Switch.
Because I'm thinking, you said incentivize, and I feel like that could be a good incentive for a lot of people. Like, you're going to include Breath of the Wild 2 with this? Like, I might as well upgrade.
That would be nice. The new 3DS.
I don't think they'll do that.
They were really trying with exclusive games on it, which really backfired on them. And they were like, okay, we're going to... And they just stopped midway. It's like, no, we're actually not going to make it exclusive anymore. This didn't do as much, but Man, yeah, I think they're just juggling with the ideas. Like, okay, we got this design, we got these materials, this is what they can do. They really need to just boil it down to how they're gonna time it out, what they're gonna market, what game they're gonna not pack it in, but associate with. I think it's just more
Right.
associating than
I think
anything.
so too. I think so
Mhm.
too.
So I'm
Yeah.
very excited for Switch Pro. I'm excited what it can do. And hopefully it'll just make everything play better. Not play better, higher, like more performance, higher frame
Mhm.
rate. You don't really need a better resolution other than like maybe 720p, maybe on your handheld screen, and
Mhm.
then 1080 and or higher docked would be excellent, and then frames just steady 60. Oh, that would be the dream. That would be a serious dream. So, anyways, I'm
I
done.
feel like
I'm
it.
done with my Switch
Yeah.
Pro
I like
opinion.
almost wonder like why didn't all of this come with the OLED upgrade? Like I feel like
Yeah.
they're at risk of confusing the casual market with so many slightly different systems out there on the market.
Yeah, I don't want them to confuse people. Like just
No.
give them like
Because is the
it's
casual
real.
consumer going to understand the difference between here's the Switch OLED, here's the Switch Performance Plus, like whatever
Yeah, whatever they're going to call it.
general people aren't going to understand it the way we understand it. They're going to look at this and they're going to be like what's the difference? Do they play different games? Like what am I like I feel like
Mhm.
people don't have the patience for that. Moms that are walking into I can't say GameStop anymore because they're going downhill.
Mhm.
I don't know.
I
Screw
think what
GameStop.
they're
That's my pitch. Screw GameStop.
I
Go
think
ahead.
what they're going to have to do is drop the original Switch. Gonna rebrand. I mean, I guess you can call it Switch OLED, but you're gonna have to convince people that the Switch Pro also has an OLED screen. That's the only thing. It's like you're gonna call it Switch OLED Pro. Like
That
that
like
sounds
come on.
dorky.
Come on.
that
Like
sounds
that's the worst thing they could do right now.
that sounds like a meme. It really does. Like the new 3DS was a just that branding too was not that great, right? Like us Nintendo fans knew what was going
All of
on.
yeah. It's so
And
bad.
the C stick, I think that was the biggest thing on that was the little nub on the top right of that
I
3DS
think the
XL
screen
was
was bigger too, right?
it was I think it's the same ish size, maybe a little bigger, and
Oh
just
right, because the
better.
XL already existed, didn't it?
Yeah, 3DS XL happened.
See, and that's
That's
what I
what I'm
mean. Like there's
talking about.
so many revisions that are minor that it's like I don't know. Maybe it makes sense because then you're getting the fools like us to upgrade every time and, get multiple consoles.
hmm
It's just I feel like it's confusing to people.
So Yarden brings up a pretty good option. I don't want another revision. New console with back compat in 2024.
Well, isn't that what this is supposed to be for next year?
Well,
Or
think
is this
about it.
supposed to be a
So,
revision?
are we gonna market it as a Switch 2? Are we gonna market it as Super Switch? And we
According
will
to
have
Pixelpar, yes, it retains the branding of the Switch.
okay. Yeah, I'm saying, is it gonna be more Wii to Wii U or 3DS to new 3DS? That's which one do you want to go after? Like what do you prefer?
Yeah. Well, let's see. The Wii U was a
It was
different
a brand new
console
console.
generation, but it
Exactly.
it
Yeah.
played Wii games,
Yes.
but
So it's just there are
yeah,
exclusive games on there. So I think that's a good option. It's like saying this is not Switch Pro. This is the Super Switch or Switch 2 or whatever.
yeah.
It'll have its exclusive games, but your back compat's right there. You Switch can play on the screen right now. I think that's a good option to
I
go.
think
And
I
I
would
think
prefer
they can
that.
last out another year. Nintendo can definitely last out another year to pull this kind of stunt with Switch marketing and have just like a new generation console like acted like that.
I will be salty if there's exclusive games for it
Okay.
because that means I would have to upgrade for Zelda.
Exactly. No, well, okay. I wouldn't say it would be for Zelda then. I think it would just, well, I think Zelda would not put it into a new Switch console and just leave the Nintendo fan base on
They
the
can't.
original Switch.
They
They
can't
can't do
make it
that.
Zelda exclusive. No.
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 But they can associate, Metroid Prime 4 with it.
They could
or
do it
something
for
like
Metroid
that.
Prime 4, and then they'll wonder why isn't Metroid Prime 4 selling millions.
It's like we gave you what you want. Why
I
isn't
guess
it
you guys
selling?
don't like Metroid.
So we're gonna cut it. Wait another 30 years. You're welcome.
I will also be salty if I can't use the shiny new Joy-Con that I'm purchasing on this new Switch.
Oh, that's another interesting thing.
But
too.
I do want revised Joy-Con. I want them to make them different, make them better, but let me use my old ones on it. If not on the Switch handheld, let me stick them on a grip and let me use it as a multiplayer controller.
That's a possibility. Yeah.
Because I think that's absolutely absurd that I have accumulated these $80 controllers and I can't I won't be able to use them for when I'm playing multiplayer.
Yeah, that would suck. That's the part actually we really don't know is the Joy-Cons. And like what's the revision of that? What are they going to change with it? I agree with you. I would love them to make it better, make it a little handle it a little bit better. I think the Valve did a pretty good job of like what the grips are, and also the whatever the Switch Pad Pro, Hori Pad Pro, whatever, did a pretty good job at gripping. So I just want a better grip than anything, and then the button layout, get a decent D-pad would be great. But anyways,
no more like the little stupid buttons. Like I'm in the unique situation where I hate the stupid little buttons, like not the D-pad. Is there a word for what these are? I don't think this is a D-pad. This is like D buttons. It's not.
Yeah, we'll call it D buttons.
So I hate this.
I hate it so much.
But I also hate the D-pad on this stupid controller.
It's not the greatest.
It's bad. It's so bad, the Pro Controller D-pad.
I had to get a separate controller for this D-pad.
Anytime that I can, I play on my little Super Nintendo Bluetooth for the Switch. Because that D-pad's good. So yes, better D-pad would be on my list too.
For sure. I've said
I care more about that stuff than the software performance stuff that you care about.
Oh, let me tell you. Just give me the details. What is in the hardware? Give me the Tegra chip. Give me the RAM. What is this give me an SSD. Like they could do so much.
Hearing those Digital Foundry videos talking about those deep specs that you love sounds like the adults in the Peanuts cartoons that go like, mwah, 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 mwah. That's what it sounds like to me.
Okay.
I don't care.
Well,
I'm happy for
Donnie
you.
says correctly. What a Nintendo thing to say. So me and Donnie are going to enjoy ourselves.
I'm so happy for you.
Reveling in the ports and like how much better it's gonna play. I just, it's a problem for me. Like Switch, the one thing that makes it not my sole exclusive console is how badly it performs on a lot of third-party games. Like it's just no, I'm done. Like after that. So
Jules says, imagine if the Korok Forest didn't drop frames. Okay. Would Breath of the Wild is like a 10 out of 10 game? Is it gonna make it an 11 out of 10 game if it doesn't drop frames? Like, okay, it could be better, but like, is it really ruining your experience that much that like you're not gonna enjoy the game? No.
But you're gonna be like, it's gonna look beautiful.
Okay, what do you rate Breath of the Wild? If you rate it 9 out of 10, would you rate it 10 out of 10 if it doesn't drop frames in the Korok Forest? Is that the deciding factor that's not making it a perfect game?
No, it's just basic resolution and performance. Like I judge by a game by that. And I think Breath of the Wild's fine. I'm not complaining about Breath of the Wild. That's why I say third-party games.
I'm not
There's a
saying that
lot
these
of
things aren't good to have. Like I
yeah.
expect and enjoy better performance with console revisions, but I don't think it's making the game worse because it drops some frames in the correct forest.
Oh no, I agree with you. That those little details, I agree with you. It's just the tech, like the.
I know.
I'm very sensitive to eyes now. Like when I see Monster Hunter Rise on PC, I'm like, that looks a lot better
See,
than
and
on Switch.
I will admit that I don't have that eye that you have, and part of me
Mhm,
is glad that I don't, because I feel like
mhm.
I'm blissfully ignorant, and like it doesn't bother me because I don't see it. I just don't see it,
Well,
so
I
I don't
don't
care.
think you play a lot of action-based games, like other than Breath of the Wild and like maybe some other miscellaneous stuff. You don't like there's a lot of action-based games on PlayStation and Xbox that
That's
looks really
true.
nice because they
That's
smooth
definitely
out.
true.
Yeah,
Sorry, my
so
cat is
I
rolling over on the keyboard right now. I'm trying to prevent that from happening. I
do what you need to do.
did see the issues that you guys had in Age of Calamity, but that didn't lessen the experience for me. I didn't find it unplayable. I didn't have less fun with it because of
Mm.
it.
I think Age of Calamity touched the border for me. I'm like, you
Okay.
are stopping a little too much. You went down to 20 frames. You went down to 10 frames. That's unacceptable. That's
Hmm.
what's in my standards. Like if you go below that, like
That's fair.
this is not this is and the
To
reason
me,
why
it
I say
didn't.
this,
Yeah,
and the reason why I say this is because Nintendo has the full capabilities of upgrading this thing. They have
yeah,
it.
I agree with that.
They just don't do it. They just refuse to do it. And Donnie said because Age of Calamity was already a lesser experience. Yeah. Well, I think to be honest, I would change my like a rating if Age of Calamity performed better. And that's just it would just be a doc like just one thing off the list. So, but that's just me.
Okay, maybe
So,
because it was so bad that like for you that it brought it down because of the performance. But
and
like a couple
that's
frames
really
drop
the
doesn't
only
matter.
game. And then there's like, a lot of third party games like Outer Worlds. And there's a lot that are 30 frames. I'm like, that's cool. 60 frames would be great though.
Yeah. See,
And it would
I
look
just don't
so
notice it,
good.
and
Yeah.
I'm glad about it. Shall we move on from this discussion because we
Sure.
could probably keep talking about this for another hour, and I'm sure we will
Let's
next
just
week,
go.
and I'm sure we will the week after that, and I'm sure we will the week after that
I
until
love it.
September when it's finally not announced because it doesn't
I
exist.
can't wait till Digital Foundry just puts out another speculation video. It's gonna be great.
Okay, you can summarize it for us.
Sounds good.
Xenoblade 3, Xenoblade Chronicles 3 previews are out. The review copies
Yes.
are out. They mainly talk about the pacing and the combat of the game. Beware of spoilers.
Yeah, there was a lot of like people saying don't read the GameSpot preview at all. They spoiled like the game in the beginning of this preview. And I'm like, okay,
Mm.
I am not looking at a thing about this, but I've seen some funny stuff on Twitter about it. One of them was they've been pulling this quote off. I don't know which preview was it, but they compared to Persona, and the Xenoblade fans are like, "Oh no, here we go." The
Uh-oh.
comparison to Persona
Oh no.
continues.
When does it come out?
Yes, it comes out July 29th, I
Okay, so a
believe.
week after Live Alive.
Yes.
Okay. Live
Can't
Alive
wait.
previews are also out.
Yeah, go
My
read those.
preview piece will hopefully be written and out tomorrow. So look out
We'll
for that.
see. Look
I have some
out.
work to do. Yeah. I'm enjoying it. I talked about that already.
Good.
If you have not played Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle, the first game, there is a free trial for Nintendo Switch Online subscribers
Yes.
until next week on the 12th. The base game is currently on sale for $10. The Gold Edition, is that the DLC?
Sorry, 15. Yes. It's
The
DLC
trials
plus
until the
base
15th.
game is $15.
$15.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So I don't see why you wouldn't get that if you're already enjoying the game. Get the DLC. I heard it's good DLC, right? Donkey Kong?
It's fantastic DLC.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I love Donkey Kong, and that just brings a new addition. Guys, me and Donnie have been preaching this. If you put a gun to my head and say, name top 3 Switch exclusives, I would say Switch Breath of the Wild. I would say Luigi's Mansion
Breath of the
3.
Wild's not Switch exclusive.
Well, too bad. And then, well, I'm dead. So there you go. And then number 3 would be Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle. Those are the 3 that I would pick. Guys,
like
go
fair.
play this game. Like, it's like, if you're Nintendo Switch, like, get it. Like, please. It's so good. It's the best intro tactics game you'll ever play. Not Fire Emblem. It's not Fire Emblem. It's not any other, like Final Fantasy Tactics. It is Mario plus Rabbids. Go get it. Please. Please, please, please. Play it.
Listen to Garrett. I did not play the Clutch asked, has anyone downloaded the Mario Rabbids trial? I have not. I tried that game close to when it came out. If you enjoy Mario and if you enjoy thinking while you're playing games,
Thinking while you're playing games,
try out the demo. You might enjoy it.
try
That's
out
all I
the
have to
game.
say about
You
that.
can try out the game now.
That's all I have. You have until next week. Go ahead, do it. Costs you nothing.
Do it now.
Unless you're not subscribed to Switch Online, then it does cost you something. E3 is returning in 2023.
Yay.
This time it will be a little bit different because the PAX organizer is helping to produce the show. If you're not familiar with PAX, they have gaming conventions around the world throughout the year, and they are quite good. I went to my first one earlier this year. They said a secure and streamlined media registration process will open later this year, which I'm sure is referencing the insecure and not streamlined media registration that E3 has done in the past. The show will take place the second week of June 2023. What do you think?
Well, that's well, I think PAX is the right decision. It's like, okay, there's this organization that knows what they're doing, that's been doing it now for a few years, how to run these things, and we dropped the ball for the past, like before the pandemic. So if you were gonna go back and try it out one more time, this is a right decision. And I'm not saying I'm excited for it. They still gotta test it out. They gotta make sure. Like I'm not super confident in it just yet.
Well, I'm not confident either, but it sounds like, and it's Reed Pop is the PAX producer.
Yes.
They must feel pretty confident to step up and say, "Hey, we're gonna take this under our wing. We're gonna help out with this." So I wonder what they see and what their vision is for it that we don't see, because I don't see. And we had Elias write in, how does everyone feel about the return of in-person E3? They are returning to in-person. I forgot to mention that. What do they contribute to this that makes it better than what we had this year of shows just putting out their own 20-minute direct style event online?
Yeah. Normally at, PAX events, it's a gaming convention. And I think it's just going to be a lot more what the direction was for E3, less about like marketing to, I don't know, investors or journalists or whatever, and more to the audience. And so, yeah, I like going to these things. The weekend I was in LA, they had the Anime Expo. They had that going in person. And, people still would like to go to these events just to see the early stuff, or just to be surrounded by people that are interested in this as well. So, yeah, just keep it as a Super PAX kind of deal. And you can even think of it as, okay, here are
we can't call it Super PAX.
I love it.
We can't do that. That's already a thing.
The showcases, like Xbox and Nintendo, like keep that separate. You can keep that
Yeah.
separate.
Yeah.
EA will do it separate. Sony will do it separate. That's fine. You don't need that. You just need the showroom, and the people will come. And so, yeah, I'll be interested to see how this goes.
I do think making it into like a convention style type of ordeal would make it, I think, desirable for people to go to, because I feel like that's adding more than just like the typical like E3 like show floor. Like you're gonna have that anyway, but then you're gonna have, like you said, like the community building and like all the other stuff that comes with conventions that people will get excited about, that they used to be excited about for E3 but aren't anymore.
I think they just got to make a new identity for it, you know? Like they can't live off of nostalgia, and I don't think they will. I think PAX is a pretty smart organizer. They know what to do with these organizations now. They are running 3 of them. Well, they used to run 3. Now they run 2 of them a year. Actually more than that, because it's international. There's PAX Aus as well. And then you got PAX West and PAX East. They used to do PAX South. They know what they're doing. So I'm sure they'll figure out something for E3 next year. I'm just it's not going to be like what it was in like 2011 or 2010.
And even prior
years.
to that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think before this, I would have really groaned at the fact of E3 returning to in-person in 2023. Last year was a disaster for more reasons than it just not being in person. This is, I feel like, the only thread of hope that it has left.
Yeah. I honestly, there's a lot of influencers and analysts that were like, okay, E3 is dead. Okay, the who is it that controls it? Is it called the ESA?
ESA.
Right. Their revenue is gonna split apart or be this is a huge chunk off of their revenue, but they're the lobbying group for the gaming group, but they are still persisting. They seem confident. And I think it's good to have just a little help. It's like, hey, in this day and age, we don't know what to do. We can't waste resources what to do with it because we're dealing with all this other stuff at DC. Why don't you guys? We'll contract you and just take care of it. I think that's a smart decision. So we need, Yarden says, like it or hate it, we need it. We need
the ESA.
ESA.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
100%. Of course, membership dues for all the industry folk. But yeah, keep your ears and eyes out for this new E3.
Do they normally announce it this early? I feel like they don't announce it until later at least later in the summer or later in the year.
Every year, end of E3, they say, see you next year. And these are the dates for next year, E3.
I didn't know that they did it that soon. I just remember it being later, but it's been a couple years, so I could be misremembering. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what Jeff Keighley is not too happy about it. I feel like he tweeted, "Summer Game Fest is coming next year."
Yeah, that was I just I guess that he wanted to put that out just to make clarifying for people. Is like, hey, I'm not affiliated with this event in organization anymore. I'm doing my own thing, and so here's Summer Games Fest, and good for him.
If it can continue to exist in the same sphere.
Yeah,
we'll see.
I think they can coexist though, because a PAX. I mean, E3 can be like a PAX, and Jeff Keighley can just announce games online and just be fine.
Digital shows.
Yeah.
Although I think, doesn't he want it to be in person too? His Summer Game Fest.
Yeah, I think they were thinking of a in-person event over in LA as well. We'll see how that goes.
We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Just tonight, Pokemon Puzzle League is coming to Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack. Remember we were just talking about how Pokemon Snap came end of June. We're
Yeah.
like, well, what's next? They got through all of the titles that they had originally announced or at least showed. This is the first game that was not previously shown. It will be coming next week on July 15th. Japan gets Custom Robo 1 and 2. Are you serious?
Yeah, they get those two. They get the good stuff, man, like all the time.
I've never played Pokemon Puzzle League. However, I played Pokemon Puzzle something on the Game Boy Color. Is it the same thing?
I don't
Puzzle
think so.
Quest? What was
Chad,
it called?
correct me. I don't know. But Pokemon Puzzle League,
Pokemon Puzzle Challenge.
I don't think so.
Is that a different game?
That could be. But Pokemon Puzzle League is like Tetris Attack on the SNES. So good.
Okay. I'll try it.
The like top 5 N64 games while growing up. This is in there. Definitely in there.
Radiant Dance says they're both paneled upon.
Yeah, paneled upon is the original Tetris Attack game.
Okay.
So what you do is you kind of set up your board. There's a bunch of squares, and the squares have different symbols or colors or whatever. In Pokemon Puzzle League, it's elements. So you got grass, electric, fire, and water. And you
I
just
vaguely remember it.
Yeah, it's a matching color system deal. And you have a selection. You have 2 squares you can flip. And so if you get 3 or more in a row, you get some bonus points and they disappear and more blocks will drop and the cycle continues. What's the strategy behind this is that you got to make sure you make trigger pitfalls. So like you got 2 colors and like columns or whatever, and then you take like one move, you can do both at the same time, and that's a combo. If a certain square falls into another row that has the same color, that's another combo. And so you make these combos and you make them as quick as possible to make it harder for the opponent. And the opponent gets these like big blocks smashed on top of them. And so basically the game is don't go, make sure you don't make your blocks go all the way to the top. And
I saw on the trailer for this that it had like Ash, Misty, Brock. Like, are they part of the game? Like, it's like from the anime. It's not from the games.
It's from the anime.
Interesting. Okay.
I played all the way. I think I did not beat the last level on like extreme difficulty or something. I was that good. I was like,
wow.
I am going all the way. I was that kid.
So now that you have the expansion pack, you'll be playing this.
I'll definitely be playing this. I love this game.
I'll try it out next week.
All the way to the end. Oh, it was so hard.
Oh, wow.
And this one, I think this one it revolves a little bit. It can revolve. So you use the triggers on the N64 controller to like move it's kind of like a cylinder.
Like to rotate them.
To rotate.
I see what you mean. Oh, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. I'm glad. So Kyle had written in before this announcement. He got his question in super early today. He wanted to know if there were to be a Switch Online announcement dropping this month. You have the gift of prophecy, Kyle the Pug. Which announcement will be more likely to be featured? GBA, GBC, Nintendo 64 Wave 2, or GameCube? Well, it didn't really happen. They didn't give us like the next wave of Nintendo 64 games, but I do think this all but confirms they're going to keep dropping a 64 game every month. Do you agree?
For the time being, that's what they're going to do. They're going to
at least September, October when that year comes up, right?
Yeah, I agree with you. Once that year pops up, hopefully they'll have some type of update of like, here's the new wave of games to come out. And I think this is just my speculation. I think they have enough consoles in the Nintendo Switch Online to like fill that library up in a drip fashion. Just like, hey, here's a Super Nintendo this. There's an NES with that. Okay, here's some Genesis with that. And they can do that.
Do you know what the biggest shame in the world would be?
What?
If this Switch 2, like the Wii U style console comes out next year and they scrap all of this and don't
Build it
let
up
us
again.
play these games anymore.
Yeah, that would not be a good move. I think there's now certain things Nintendo can't get away with, and I think the next console is gonna be Switch branding. So whatever Switch branding is, Switch 2, whatever,
Yeah.
they can't afford it to be not back compat with regular Switch games, and also this Nintendo Switch Online stuff, because they double down on this and they're slowly dripping this godforsaken online service.
Sort of Blue in chat has
Yeah.
a good prediction that GameCube games could be exclusive to the Pro. I don't think that's a bad prediction. I just hope that they say, okay, here's the whole collection that exists up to this point on the Switch 2 Pro, whatever you want. And then in addition, you could get the GameCube games.
Yeah, that could be a good
Or
blocking
whatever.
point to incentivize people to get this new console, other than new Switch games, exclusive Switch games. There's another route to go. Yeah. And that's not to say GameCube games should be able to run on regular Switch.
Oh, absolutely. They should. Yeah, they absolutely should. Yeah. I don't think that would stop Nintendo, though. I think they don't see it as the GameCube performs better on the Switch Pro. I think they see it as, here's a way that we can get more people to upgrade to the Switch Pro.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. They're business. They'll figure it out.
I said this before, but I would rather the GBA, GBC games before GameCube, but that's just me.
Oh, I hope that's the case. I really hope that's the next thing, is the GBA, GBC. And it kind of, if they don't do that, I'll be forever livid.
I don't see how they will at this point, because if we get our Switch Pro announcement later this year, if it's supposed to come in September, the announcement, what are they going to do? Start adding more content to the original Switch? Like, I don't know.
No, I think it could be a slow roll. I think it could be if they have an announcement in September. Let's say they do. They could sometime next year be like, hey, here's the GameCube one. And then like earlier this year, they could be, I think like a direct would come out with GBC, GBA later this year.
Yeah, that's true.
If the timing works out. I'm sure they are going through a million scenarios in their head. It's like, what's going to give us the most money?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You can go for it. So
I'm not, yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. I don't think I could say it any better than that. Yeah. Get hype about Pokemon Puzzle League. I'm just glad that they're still adding 64 games. That gives us some hope for Pokemon Stadium.
Oh, they better at this point.
1 and 2. That gives us
very surprising that they have Pokemon Puzzle League before Stadium 1 and 2.
I know. I would not have thought that.
And Snap. Snap is probably way more popular, but I'm very surprised with Puzzle League.
Me too. I definitely forgot that Puzzle League was even a game.
Yeah. It's one of those, it's a copy. It's a ripoff from Pano de Pon or whatever. But man, I really loved it on the N64. That was my favorite.
That is it for this week's news. We have at least one chat question directly from you. Yarden says hi. It's not a question, but hi, Yarden. Thank you for listening. The question comes from G-Man. He wants to know, when can we expect a Breath of the Wild 2 Joy-Con and dock? The new Splatoon 3 Joy-Cons and dock are pretty sweet. Yes, they are, G-Man. I think that if the Switch Pro 2, whatever you call it, is coming alongside Breath of the Wild 2, we won't get a special edition for it. Which is a shame, because it should have one. It would be beautiful.
Yeah. It would be like, I mean, it could be another March release, Breath of the Wild 2, Switch Pro, here you go. And that will recreate that 2017 year. with that combo. But I hope it's just a Breath of the Wild 2 OLED. I think that would be just fine.
Did you say you
it'd
hope
be
it
really,
is?
I
No,
hope
you
it is for
don't.
you
You hope
guys.
that there's a Switch 2.
No, I do. I was just like, I hope there's like a aesthetic, cosmetic, whatever dilly dally thing that you guys want
So you
too.
want both. You want a Switch OLED original
Yeah.
in Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
And you want the Switch 2.
I mean, I'm not going to buy it. I want it for you guys. Like, cosmetically, you people will eat that up. Of course you're going to
Yeah,
get the
but I
Switch
don't.
to the
But then
Switch OLED
what
Breath
do
of the
I
Wild
do
edition.
then? Which one do I buy? I can't buy 2 consoles the same day.
Yeah, you can.
Oh, Garret.
I mean, they've done that with 3DS. No joke.
They have.
Yeah, they released new 3DS and they're like, hey, here's the Monster Hunter 3DS. Oh, here's the Mario and Luigi one. Like, yeah, they'll slow roll this out.
It'll be interesting. That's for sure.
Anyways.
All right. I think that's going to do it for this week.
Yeah.
Anything else that I'm missing or forgetting?
Not that I can think of. Get hyped for this month, guys. A bunch of RPGs on
This is
Switch.
a big month. I'm going to keep playing Live Alive. I will share more about that. I'll share a little bit more about that next week. I still can't talk about that much, but then my review will be out the week it releases. So I'll talk the most about that on the 21st. So maybe I'll hold most of my thoughts until then. And then Stray is coming out. So I'm going to be cheating on the Nintendo Switch.
Good.
Pretty soon.
Play a PlayStation game. I'm interested to hear.
That's what I'm going to be playing. Stray is coming out
I'm interested to hear about this game. It looks cool. Like,
oh, you know what? I'm also playing The Quarry, which is on PS5.
Yeah.
So I'm playing some stuff.
Cool. That sounds good.
Yeah, there are other platforms.
Xenoblade Chronicles 3 for me. Get hyped. Can't wait. Live Alive, and Digimon Survive.
Heck yeah.
Those are the big 3 that's coming out on the Switch. And then
August has some
good
games too. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of stuff coming up. I have a handful of indies that are coming out in August that I'm excited for. And then Splatoon 3 is not my summer game, but it will eat up my September, October, November until Pokemon comes out.
Pokemon comes out. Yeah, for sure.
And beyond. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited for the rest of the year.
Me too. Sure. It's finally happening. Finally good stuff.
A lot of good games.
That is going to do it this week. We will see you next week. Good night, Koopalings.
Bye-bye.